I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. See the horizon turn us to thousands, and we'll grow in number, fueled by them. To see the horizon turn us to thousands, and on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And
I'm just gonna put some honey in the green tea because it makes it taste so much better. But it's just gonna be like just a drop, just a drop, like that much. Whoa. So I've just been really paying attention to my body, eating when I'm hungry, and trying to get really nutrient-dense foods. And around like 3 o'clock every day, I have to have tea because I need some energy, so I just want it for the caffeine. But green tea is good for you, so it works out. Oh my goodness, I'm making a mess. So, yeah, I'm just trying to eat every couple of hours to keep my body, like my blood sugar levels consistent, so that I don't just get suddenly tired and end up eating everything. So I'm gonna enjoy this. It's nice and warm. I love it when the cup is warm. For snack, I'm having kimchi that I made and some Brussels sprouts, probably about a cup of each. I'm having green tea and a mango for snack while simultaneously editing my video, and I'm kind of tempted to have some more protein too. I'm not sure though. For now, I will probably just see how this feels, but if I'm still hungry, I will add some protein to this, and I'm just gonna let this sit for a little bit, but not too long, because I found out that that's why my green tea is always bitter, is because I leave the bag in for too long. So just a little bit more, and then I will drink it. Hey guys, so I'm just driving home right now, and I have my camera attached to my steering wheel, and I'm getting creative here. I talk a lot better and more freely when I'm driving, so if I look back on this video and I cannot hear what I'm saying, I will just delete this and re-record it. But I'm really hoping if I talk loud, you guys will be able to hear me, because I know my thoughts are going to be a lot more smooth while I'm driving than when I'm just sitting there doing nothing. So I just wanted to talk about, if you are like me and you have dieted and yo-yo dieted and gained weight, lost weight, binge eating, like if you've done all of that, you've tried 100 different things and you're still struggling and you're just not really sure what to do, and at this point you're like maybe thinking about just giving up altogether, I wanted to talk and just give you some inspiration, because I've been there, I've gone through this, and sometimes you get to this point where you think that you have figured it out and you have fixed it and it's done, you don't have to deal with this anymore, and then it hits you, you mess up again, you binge again, you gain weight again, something goes wrong and you feel defeated, and you're in the same cycle, the same boat that you have been from the start, and it starts all over again, and you feel like you're never going to get out of this cycle. Sometimes you might even feel like you're losing your mind. It can be that bad. So I wanted to talk because if any of that relates to you, I just want to tell you guys what I've learned and what I've done, because there is good news. You can absolutely stop the cycle. You can stop binge eating forever. I don't mean like you can stop and maybe have a couple relapses. You can stop forever. You don't have to keep living like this. This doesn't have to go on for the rest of your life. So I just wanted to talk about how to stop the cycle, how to stop dieting, how to stop failing at diets, how to stop yo-yoing and gaining weight and losing weight, and just live and eat like a normal person. I read this information in an article online, and I've spent so many hours online looking up different diets and different exercise plans, different ways to stop the cycle and everything, and I finally came across an article that had so many points in it that just hit me, and you guys can read the article for yourself. I will link it below, but you can also just listen to my take on it if you want to. I hope that helps. That's the purpose of this video, is I just want to help. So some of the points that it mentioned that really struck me as good points is, why does this start? Why do certain people, not everyone struggles with their weight in life, so why do people struggle with their weight in life? And it made a good point about, it's probably started at some point that your body was not getting the nutrients it needed, and it recognized the need for more nutrients, which signaled you to eat more. So maybe you weren't getting enough adequate, fats or carbs or proteins. So you felt hungry all the time. And you were eating plenty of calories, plenty of food, but it wasn't the right food. It didn't have any nutrients in it. So you stayed hungry despite eating all the time. Then you gained weight. At some point, someone or you realized you gained weight, and you said, or they said, depending on your age, if it was, if you were younger, it might have been your parents that did this, but you might have said, I need to go on a diet because I have gained weight, I'm always hungry, and you probably told yourself that you struggle with your weight and you have an issue. The problem probably was not you. The problem was what you were eating that caused you to be hungry, causing you to gain weight, causing you to feel the need to go on a diet. The cycle started right there, probably at a young age. And that is exactly what happened with me. And I read the article and I was just like, oh my gosh, that is what happened to me. So from that point, you go on a diet, and now you're still not sure what to eat. You're not eating the right foods. You're just eating less. You were already hungry before because your body needed more nutrients, but now you're even more hungry because you're not eating enough calories. So you're probably, you might think that you're weak because you constantly fail at diets. That does not mean you're weak. The fact that you constantly diet probably shows you right there you are a strong person. You have a strong willpower. You have a lot of determination, because a lot of people would not keep dieting. They would have just stopped. So give yourself credit for being probably stronger than you recognize. You're going to fail at a diet that you're not getting your nutrients, because your body is amazing. It knows what it needs. And if your diet is not giving it what it needs, it's going to nag you non-stop. It is going to make you tired. You're going to start losing your memory. It's going to shut down on you. And it's going to say, if you don't feed me right, I'm not going to work. I can't do it. So you have to feed me right. And it's going to constantly send you signals to your brain, just cravings and constant hunger, until one day you might have dealt with this for a week. You might have dealt with this for 3 days and given in. You might have even made it a whole entire month, but it will come. You're going to break. And when you break, it might be, depending on how extreme you are about your dieting, how rigid you are. If you're like me, you felt like you messed up over something as simple as one bite of something you weren't supposed to have. 1 tablespoon of peanut butter, you messed up your diet. Well, at that point, you're discouraged. Your determination is now broken. And your hunger has been nagging at you. All these cravings have been nagging at you for days, weeks, or even months. So you have all these foods. And you have, in the past, your body recognized that when you ate junk food, there was an instant reward. Almost a high. You get a high from this food. So you're instantly satisfied. You have energy and you feel good. It makes you happy. It releases all these endorphins. So when you break your diet, you go for those foods. You don't go for the foods that your body is asking for. You don't go for the nutrient foods. You go for the junk food. Then your body recognizes very quickly when you eat if it had the proper amount of protein, fat, and carbs. So if your junk food binge did not satisfy your need or your body's need for those things, it'll tell you to keep eating. So sometimes what was meant to be a cheat meal turns into a binge week. Then all the weight that you lost comes back on in a couple of days and you feel discouraged. Maybe you worked really hard to get that off. So your instant solution, if you're on the same page as me here, is that the next day, you're not going to eat any of that food anymore. You're going to go on a diet. You're going to really restrict your calories to make up for this really bad binge that you just had. And you're going to exercise like crazy. That starts the cycle all over because you're tired. Your body needs more calories. So now for the next couple of days, weeks, or months, you do the same thing again. You're always hungry. You're fighting to stay strong. when you break really bad and you gain all the weight that you lost over the last couple of weeks. If this sounds familiar, you can stop. This does not have to keep happening to you. Recognize your body's amazing ability to know what it needs. It needs nutrients, and it's telling you it needs nutrients. Don't feed it junk. Don't starve it. Eat enough food, but eat the right food that you don't ever have to go on a diet again. You can eat a normal amount of food. You can eat like a normal person. So those points in that article, I mean, I recommend that you read the article if you do struggle with that. It is going to be posted below, but those points I was like, oh my gosh, my mind was blown, because I kind of knew it. I knew a lot of information, but the way it summed it all up, I was like, yeah. A lot of times when I read things about eating disorders, binge eating, overeating, yo-yo diets, it makes it sound like people who have struggles with their eating will always struggle with their eating. This article made a good point. Your eating disorder, your binge eating, or your yo-yo dieting is no different than any other addiction out there. Smoking, drinking, drugs, any of them. They are addictions. Eating disorders are an addiction. They are an addiction to food. They are an addiction to dieting. And recognizing that is the first step. You need to recognize that you have an addiction. That is why you keep doing the cycle. The next thing you need to realize is that when people stop smoking, cold turkey, they just stop smoking and they never smoke again. They don't occasionally have a cigarette. If they did that, they would continue to smoke for the rest of their life. They can't ever have a cigarette again. If you struggled with alcoholism or a drug addiction, you can't touch those things. You have to stay completely away from it. You have to stop, and for the rest of your life, you have to realize that if you give in even a little bit, you have an addiction, and you will start the cycle over. And that I'm over here like losing my thought. That you will end up starting that cycle over. You'll end up feeling the reward from that initial high of the food or whatever it is you're addicted to. You'll feel guilty following that, and then you'll try to make up for it by punishing yourself, and then after punishing yourself for too long, you'll give in again, and it's just, there's no reason to do that to yourself. But you have to recognize that every time you give in to this problem, whether it's overeating, binge eating, starvation, whatever it is, you are letting something control you. You are no longer controlling yourself. You are letting yourself become a slave to something. You have to realize you aren't some kind of broken, defective person that cannot control their actions when they're binging or overeating or doing a cheat meal. You have to stop and gain control and say, okay, I don't want to do this. I'm not going to let my addiction control me, and that's it. You just don't do it. It's that simple. You don't need to look up ways to distract yourself or things to eat instead or ways to work out to burn off all the calories. You just gain control. You say, I'm not going to do this. You are letting yourself be controlled by this, and you can control yourself. You just have to recognize that. So, once you recognize that, you can say, okay, I'm ready to stop. And you have to be ready to stop. If you, like I said, aren't getting the nutrients that you need, though, you are going to battle. And depending on how long you've struggled with having an eating disorder or yo-yo dieting, there might be a little bit of a mentality in you that does kind of have a hard time with finding a balance. So you might have to slowly work on changing your thinking, because that might not instantly change. And if you are struggling with your weight is not going to instantly change. So that's the thing you also have to recognize. You can decide right now, right here, you can fix your problem. You can say, I am done. I am not going to binge eat. And that's an instant change. Right this minute, you could stop binge eating for the rest of your life. But it might take a little bit more time for you to change your thinking, change your habits, change your eating, change your exercising, and your behaviors, and if you do struggle with your weight, it's going to take time for the weight to change as well. So I hope that helps. It definitely helped me a lot, and maybe my version of it to you might inspire you, might help you, but I do encourage you guys just reading the article, because you guys might get your own message out of it. And so, you know, it's just really important to make sure if you have a problem or if you struggle with something in your life, you do the proper research on it, and you make a plan and a goal, and you execute that plan after you make it. You don't just sit around thinking about it. Make a plan and stick to it and do it. You guys got this. And so I just wanted to just say that message, and thank you guys for listening. baked potato with some ketchup and some tofu and broccoli. I'm going on vacation, so I actually